I don't recall.
Let's listen to the phone call between the defendant and Yusuf, setting up the first meeting.
We can meet at my mosque, take front seats, and pray together. I'm sure Allah...
Oh, there are eyes and ears everywhere there. You have to learn how to be careful. Follow my lead.
Where do you want to meet?
Let's meet at the Borders at Morrison and 3rd, right near Pioneer Square.
Borders is actually not right near Pioneer Square, is it?
It's close.
You were present at the arrest site on November 26th.
Yes, I was fake arresting Hussein.
Hussein was screaming?
Yes.
He wanted to start running?
Yes.
Part of the plan was to get the defendant to look defiant. If he started to run, that would have looked very defiant, very good.
My work was vindicated. He showed no remorse.
No more questions.
Next witness. The government calls Agent Ivan Devine. How long have you been with the FBI?
I've been with the Portland Joint Terrorism Task Force since 2001.
What was your role in this case?
I interviewed the defendant's father. He contacted the FBI and said his son was brainwashed and had a ticket to Yemen. I said his son was over 18 and there was nothing we could do.
And this was on August 31st, 2009?
Yes.
Then what happened?
We did a routine background check, discovered the defendant was in contact with known terrorists, and we opened up a case. I thought he might be a valuable informant. Then the case was transferred to the Eugene office.
Why did you write that the defendant was conflicted and manipulable?
His email showed he was conflicted because of his partying and his desire to lead a religious life.
What about manipulable?
His father said he was brainwashed by terrorists.
No more questions.
You're a witness, Ms. Monet.
You were the first case agent in Oregon to target this defendant?
Yes.
You needed supervisors to sign off before starting the investigation?
Yes.
In October 2009, you wrote a memo to a set of supervisors here in Portland, as well as Eugene and FBI headquarters in D.C.?
Yes.
You wrote that the defendant had entered college?
Yes.
And had given up radical ideas?
Yes.
You wrote about using him as an informant?
Yes.
You were aware that he was using marijuana daily?
Yes.
That he was getting quite drunk?
Yes.
And that he would sell marijuana to friends?
Yes.
It would have been easy to arrest him for dealing marijuana and use that to coerce him into being an informant.
Yes.
And that's standard operating procedure for the FBI.
Yes.
What was the response from the Eugene office?
I don't recall.
Does this email refresh your memory? Read the highlighted part out loud.
The defendant is so immature, he would jeopardize any undercover operation.
He is so immature that he would jeopardize any undercover operation. If the defendant were more mature, he would be an informant rather than a target.
Object. Asking the witness to speculate.
Sustained.
If he were manipulative, he might have been the next Yusuf.
Ms. Monet, is there part of sustain that you don't understand? Next line of questioning.
You interviewed the defendant's father on August 31st.
Yes.
You did a search on the father in an extensive database.
Object. Relevance.
Sustained. Ms. Monet, keep your questions pertinent to this case.
His father described him as technically an adult, but still like a child.
Yes.
And you were aware that Somali kids from Minneapolis went back and were killed.
Yes.
In September of 2009, the FBI started following the defendant around.
Yes.
Taking pictures, video of him.
Yes.
And you received all these reports?
Yes.
And there was no information about weapons or locations?
Yes.
You observed a kid hanging around with friends.
Yes.
You received a court authorization to intercept all phone and electronic communications.
Yes.
And he talked about school, never about terrorist attacks.
Yes.
And on November 16th, you wrote to supervisors that he was a conflicted and manipulable kid, that he wants a double life.
Yes.
You also wrote about the defendant's high school writings and jihad recollections.
Yes.
Even though you knew that he had stopped talking or emailing about jihad.
Yes.
No more questions.
Next witness.
Government calls Agent John Todd. Agent Todd, how long have you been with the FBI?
For 7 years. In 2009, I was with the Portland JTTF. Now I'm stationed in Boston.
What was your role in this case?
I was the contact agent for a source. His job was to assess the defendant online.
What was the source's cover?
A recent convert to Islam. He used the alias Bill Smith.
Did Bill Smith put ideas in the defendant's head?
No. Our job was to assess a terrorist threat.
What did the defendant's responses tell you?
He wanted to make jihad on America's homeland.
No more questions.
Cross, Ms. Monet.
This Bill Smith doesn't actually work for the FBI.
True.
He runs an email phishing scheme and gets paid by the catch.
Object. Asked and answered.
Sustained.
You stated that you didn't mean to put ideas in his head.
I didn't.
For 6 months, Bill Smith sent the defendant over 50 emails.
About 50.
Often the defendant didn't respond for over a month, and you kept up the assault.
He was a terrorist threat.
Let me remind you of an email from this Bill Smith. I see other brothers trying to fight, and I want to as well.
He was playing a role.
In all of the defendant's emails to Bill Smith, is there any indication that he wanted to do violence in the West?
No.
No. In this December 1st email, you brought up bringing the fight to the West and included the justification. Then our brothers in Palestine will have success.
Yes, to assess his mindset.
He didn't respond, so the FBI contacted him again on January 1st. In this next email, you refer to recent actions against the West in a positive light,
Yes.
including the underwear bomber.
Yes.
And you wrote, quote, "It would be so easy to bring any U.S. city to its knees."
That could refer to praying.
San Francisco has a large JTTF office. Portland's was growing, and you were in charge.
Yes.
No more questions.
Mr. Bishop.
The government calls Agent Galvin Marino to the stand. You've been with the FBI since 1998.
That's right. I started off in narcotics and have been an electronic surveillance expert with the Portland JTTF since 2002.
Were you involved in the July 30th operation?
Yes, I outfitted Youssef with the recording device just before he left to meet the defendant.
When did you first learn that the recording device failed?
The following Monday, another agent was transferring to CD and discovered that the recorder failed.
Why did it fail?
I was testing the device the day before, on the 29th, and forgot to turn it off.
What was on the tape?
8.5 hours of me in my vehicle, and the test recording with Youssef. I never used that recorder again.
No more questions.
Cross, Ms. Monet.
You've had 10 years of electronic surveillance training with the FBI.
Yes.
You first learned on August 2nd, Monday morning, that the device failed,
Yes.
and you reported this immediately.
Yes.
On the 29th, the day before the meeting, the device was fully charged.
Yes.
The date and time were accurate.
Yes.
It was fully serviceable.
Yes.
A red LED activates when it's turned on.
Yes.
The FBI has a lot of different makes and models of recording devices.
Yes.
And Agent Youssef requested this particular device.
Yes.
When you placed the device into its case, it was not activated.
I don't know.
The red LED was not activated.
True.
When you placed the device into its plastic case, it was not activated.
True.
So, the recorder somehow turned itself on while in the closed plastic case.
Yes.
You arrived at the embassy suites mid-morning.
Yes.
There were already numerous agents there.
Yes.
Portland police provided a full SWAT team.
Yes.
You opened the plastic case, discovered a low battery, and charged the device for about 30 minutes.
Yes.
You made a test recording, and that worked.
Yes.
You gave the charged device to the operative and showed him how to turn it on.
Yes.
You next saw the recorder Monday morning after a colleague notified you of the malfunction.
Yes.
The initial report was that the problem was overcapacity of memory.
I don't recall.